Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. His name is Mike Brenner. My name is Peter Lojak. We are the Odds Couple. We come to you from SportsbookReview.com. It's bowl season, and we're talking right now with Doug Upstone from Vegas Pro Insiders Daily, handicapping a couple of bowls. And now we're going to handicap one of the, at least in my opinion, one of the toughest ones from the entire bowl season. That's the Capital One Bowl. Goes on Friday the 30th. It's Michigan and Florida State. Now, at the beginning of the year, Mike Brenner, you were all over Michigan in all kinds of ways. And they did start out the year a really great ATS. You know, they had some, they were covering some of those huge spreads and everything. Towards the end of the year, though, they sort of became slightly under 50% ATS-wise. They were losing a lot of games ATS, if not outright. So they definitely tailed off from a betting perspective at the end of the year, or at the middle of the year through all the way to the end. And Florida State, kind of the opposite. They had some, they got blown out by Louisville. We remember that one. Covered 4 out of their last 5 with some of impressive
I was all
results.
over them on most of those.
Yeah, so Florida State is improving. And it's another game being played in Florida, so maybe you give a regional field advantage to Florida State. And right now the line is a split line, 6.5 or 7. Michigan favored. What do you think, Mike Brenner?
Well, as Doug would say, and I'm thinking like he's thinking, it's the triple TC. That means too tough to call.
You think so?
I do. It's too tough to call for me. But I know Doug's going to have some input on it and some insight. I cashed with both of these teams. I've lost with both of these teams. But I had a really good feel for Florida State, especially going into that Gators game. And
we both loved them in that one.
Destroyed them. But does Jimbo Fisher keep letting these guys know, play like this is the national championship because you are champions, or is he going to let it just resonate in their heads that, we underachieved this year, we really should have done better? God, I don't know, because on the other side of the ball is one of the best coaches coming up, Jim Harbaugh. I love that guy, and he has his team ready, but there's just something going on with the offense, and I don't know what the update is on Spike, the quarterback. I can't call it. It's just too tough to call, and I promise you this is going to be one I'm just going to have to pop a cold beer and enjoy it like a fan.
It's a tough one. Doug Upstone, does Florida State have the talent to hang close with Michigan? Because if they do, they're getting points. The game's in Florida. They might be worth a play here at +7. What do you think, Doug?
Well, yeah, from a talent standpoint, they certainly do. I mean, they got obviously tremendous team speed. Their defense does a very good job. They're going to go up against a Michigan running game that ended up being 31st in the country and was averaged 5.0 yards per carry. But the key for them, for Florida State, is that you got to watch this guy. Their defensive tackle, DeMarcus Walker. This dude is absolutely on fire, and he can really destroy opposing backfields. And I think he's a big key. They gave up 3.7 yards per rush, so they're going to have to slow the Michigan running game to have a chance. And if you recall, the Wolverines in their three toughest games against Wisconsin, Iowa, and Ohio State, in each case, they were in a lot of 3rd and longs in those games. So I think that's what they have to do. Florida State, of course, is very balanced on offense. You got Dalvin Cook at running back and DeAndre Francois at quarterback. He's still coming along. He's still a freshman. He's still learning, but he got better as the year went along. The schedule got a little bit easier at the end. Now, the one thing you have to look at, though, with Florida State, they're 9-1 against the spread against teams that give up 17 or less points. So if they force some turnovers against Michigan, they certainly have a shot. Now, the other side of the coin is what Mike had mentioned, and actually both of you had mentioned, is that Michigan kind of fell off at the end a little bit, but I think that is a direct reflection to Wilton Spite having that damaged shoulder. With that, I think that played a big key. I think it even played a key in the Ohio State game because he wasn't able to throw long because all season long he threw the ball extremely well deep. So I think with him, I'm going to presume he'll be healthy by the 30th of December. So I think that's going to be a big plus for them. I also think that the Michigan offensive line can get in there and control this game in the trenches. Now, defensively for Michigan, their defensive line is second only to Alabama. They have very good linebackers, and Jabril Peppers leads one of the best secondaries in the country that held opposing teams' guys to 72 yards below their average when it comes to passing. So moving the ball against Michigan is really tough. When it all said and done, I look at this, as you mentioned, I think this is going to be one of the 3 best bowl games this season. Michigan, to me, though, has too much on offense, too much on defense. This is a veteran, senior-laden team. I think they're going to come out. They're going to win this one 27-17, which also means that the under will certainly be in play.
Wow, ballsy pick there. There are a few books the Chris books have 6.5 right now. Heritage at 6.5. Everyone else has 7 that I'm seeing. So Doug Upstone recommending 6.5 on Michigan. What do you think, Mike Brenner?
Well, you know what? I like the breakdown, and it's hard for me to go against Jim Harbaugh, period, because he's just that coach, and he's going to have these guys ready. Delvin Cook, though, he made a statement, and he said, this is my Super Bowl personally, because he's got to shine. He wants to shine. And the way that they beat down Florida, I saw a confidence I haven't seen in a minute. Now, can that carry on? If this game would be next week, I would say yes. This gap of time is what's going to hurt the Seminoles. And, Doug, you just better open up that door because Brenner's jumping in with you. I'm going to the bank. Yes,
really?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I'm all over
6.5 minus 110.
All over
Chris
it. Let's
Line?
take it. And I like his prediction on the 27-17. I think it's going to be in that area.
Modest scoring game.
Absolutely. And Peppers is going to play his ass off on the other side of the ball defensively for Michigan. So I like it. I love the breakdown.
All right. Awesome breakdown, guys. Mike Brenner and Doug Upzone both going on Michigan. Minus 6.5. Doug Upzone, thanks so much.
Thank you, Doug.
Gentlemen, Happy New Year.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SPR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.